Good evening. Today, March 15, 9 p.m. session Zoom recording. This is Melda Yildiz and Alyssa, Michelle, Yolinda, Caitlin, Celinda, and Ryan. Welcome. Thank you for your attendance. I guess we first start with what you've been doing, and you can outline your questions for me before we start talking about assessment. That's one of the, as you remember, one of the questions I asked in our survey, and survey results showed that most of us still somewhat uneasy about assessment as opposed to other parts of the project. So I had a chance to read some of your good feedback, good artifacts I've been looking at. So let's today talk about assessment and how we can use the assessment to transform our leadership skills as visionary leaders. All right, would you like to pick up, okay, do you want me to just pick up a name and then we'll talk one thing, one question, maybe one thing you have done this past 2 weeks that you would like to highlight?
I can start for you, Professor.
Go ahead.
So what I've actually been up to is I worked with an ELA teacher for incorporating digital storytelling. And, so we spent a lot of time doing that. They were working on book reports. So it all went well and we implemented it. And then the cool thing was that a science teacher had heard what we were doing, and then she wanted to incorporate that. So they were learning about like kinetic and potential energy. So then we incorporated that into her science lesson and had the students, create different pictures to show, different types of energy, which was kind of cool that it started off as, I was working with the ELA teacher, and then the science teacher had wanted to do it as well.
Earlier, I was talking to Yolinda and asking her if she can take some pictures of some art, from her classroom when she's doing these projects. If you have any opportunity, I'm not asking you to have the face of the students, but it could be the artifact that they are pointing to from an, back, from their back or from their head, or their digital story that they put on a YouTube. If you happen to have something like that, now this is the next project we're about to complete, this case study, right? Maybe you can use these pictures and view into a nice case study to explain. And if you can do this one like a little slideshow or some kind of a little blurb, and I would love to highlight you guys on MSIT Facebook page. Dr. Wang.
Okay, so cool.
Yeah, Shankar Wang asked me, as your students not, doing anything, you should post something. It's a good PR. I said, okay. I'm sure we have plenty of things to post it in that one. So if you if you're interested, because this is a good story, digital storytelling is one way. It, to me, is a transdisciplinary tool, right? It allows us to bring all the reading strategies, because your students, when they create their digital story, they bring their voices, right? They bring their thinking, they bring their media literacy skills, they bring the content itself, like reading, you said the book report. So it's a good tool to, it's an overarching tool that allows us to really use it in different content. So if you can put together, I cannot wait to post it on the Facebook.
Oh, good. I'll get that for you.
And again, this will kill two birds, right? One will be, let's not kill birds. I'm sorry, I changed the metaphor. It will be very good for us to highlight our faculty and students projects. You do yours and I do mine. So both ways, we're happy. And then your case study will be 100% completion.
Awesome. Good.
Do you have a question?
I don't have a question at the moment. I've just been, trying to keep up with everything and make sure I'm getting things done. So no questions at the moment.
Have you completed any practicum hours?
I was hoping that the digital storytelling would kind of count towards that.
Absolutely. And don't forget,
Okay.
if you, prior to, let's say, before you spend an hour to work with the teachers, right?
Right. Yep.
You spend an hour putting together or testing a software or planning or outlining an agenda or doing a needs analysis. Those are all counts towards the hours. So it's not just the hour that you spend. There might be an hour before that you planned, as well as after, because you might be surveying the students what they learned from that. Like you can, now that you're going to turn this into a case study, wouldn't it be nice that you have a survey to the students that they will get you some feedback, and that also the survey is another hour, right?
Right. Okay, great.
As long as your superior is aware that you spent 3 hours on this 1 hour looking project, as long as they sign for it, they know about it, it's good to go.
Okay.
Perfect. Can we select Alyssa?
I have a question for you.
Go ahead.
So going along with the STEM transdisciplinary projects, I've been actually working on one with my team. And last year they filmed us for something called a MOOC. Have you heard of that?
Yes, of course. I love it. Yeah.
So now I'm in this MOOC.
You
but
are?
So they have to interview me again. Can I count that towards my hours?
You said you did it last year, but you're going to be interviewed now, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of tag along. Yeah, we can count some hours as long as someone will sign for it, okay?
Okay.
Make sure, because you're spending time to prepare for that interview, and you're going to write up something for me as well, right?
Yeah, now this year we're doing a second project, so I could probably count that as well.
Of course. Perfect. That's good. And if you can, let's say, have an advertisement for this MOOC, because this is an open source, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to advertise it, or you're willing to share for it on the MSIT Facebook page, please send me a little blurb. And if you want to turn this into a case study, you can also get your 10 points.
Okay, that works. But it's with Teachers College, so I have to talk to them and.
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
By the way, I'm in touch with Ellen Myers from Teachers College, and she seemed to be so excited what our students were doing. So we started good collaboration with them. So thank you for bringing that bridging those good connections for us. Thank you.
Okay, and then I think my challenge is just with TaskStream. I've been having a hard time with the artifacts, and I haven't actually posted any of them yet.
I have a suggestion. Somebody did ask me if that's okay, and I said sure, and then I end up I'm sorry, Caitlin, if you want that you can call me as well. I don't know if the sound will be good from the phone, but Caitlin says in the chat.
It's better now. It was going out a lot in the beginning, but it's better now.
Okay, good. All right. Coming back to Alyssa, I encourage you to do everything you have in a Google Doc or a portfolio space you create for Google Sites. In this case, the student who's doing it is on Weebly. So I told them, then put the artifact there and put the link to the TaskStream. If that's going to help you, then actually it will also help you in the future, because all your artifacts will be in one place, and you don't end up paying in the future to TaskStream to retrieve your artifacts, because the only thing you're doing, you're linking your artifacts from your portfolio to the TaskStream for this as accreditation purposes, right? And then you could put the same link for me on the Blackboard so I can put the points.
Okay.
It's kind of like redundant to have it too, but that's how it's designed here at this specific course. For the grading purposes, things needs to be on the Blackboard. So having this one portfolio and a link, that's probably one way to, eliminate your uploading and trying to figure out where to upload and how to upload, but you just put a link up.
Okay.
Do you think that kind of answers your question?
Yeah, I just feel a little overwhelmed, but
Yeah.
I'll sit down and do it.
Yeah. Maybe with your help, I'm going to send out the exit survey. Ask you guys how we can improve this task stream. If you could give me some feedback, instead of going to the school and saying this was overwhelming, I can have more clear way in what is overwhelming and how we can solve it. Hopefully, and then in the next cohort, we will get it a little bit more streamlined. But I think this semester, at least, I'm so proud that at least I took six artifacts off the list. So I felt like that was a very big accomplishment. So maybe we'll do work more with your help. Okay. Anything else? You said you have MOOCs that you shared, and then you have a question that you asked. But anything else?
I found a good website. We're talking about assessment tonight, so it's called Rubrics, but it's ROOBRIX.com.
You mind putting it on the chat, and I will save the chat.
Okay. And instead of, because I found that when I was grading on a rubric, if a student got like below a 3 or something, that their grade was really low. So this counts, a 1 is like a 65, and then it moves up from there. So I thought that was a nice way to grade.
Perfect. You actually give me one more idea. Since you all come up with these good resources, don't forget to present this for us on the May 5th or May 6th Speed Tech Conference. And if you want to put it as a webinar type of thing, or what do we call that, screencasting, and you put it in, and the time that you spend, I will sign up for it. So let's say you use this software and you learn how to use it, and you would like to share this with your peers in the school, in this class. This is still shows your leadership. So if anyone is looking for ways in which to fill out their hours, of course I can't do it 100% like that, but 1 or 2 hours that you're missing, I will be happy to sign for you. That gives me some ideas. Okay, so assessment, maybe we'll have a chance to add that one in our repertoire of good resources, innovative tech assessment resources. Appreciate it. All right, Caitlin, if you have good sound and still you have sound, can you unmute?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't eat dinner yet. I don't mean to be moving around.
You need to move someone else. Yerlina will take over. Just enjoy. Don't.
So I actually I'm, as you know, like I'm really behind. Unfortunately, I went away for my school break, and I had some unforeseen circumstances happen, and I'm a little bit behind. But I'm slowly but surely catching up, and these last 2 snow days have really helped me catch up on some stuff. So I'm still a little bit confused, but I'm working through the nicks and stuff. So.
And if you want, I can stay after the session, and we can talk a little bit more.
Okay.
Yep. Or you know my cell number. So
okay.
If you need in-time resources, also maybe we'll have a chance to hear your stories. Maybe you could do a digital story and teach us what you learned, and that could be a good leadership hours for you.
Well, I have been working with my technology director, but like I've been doing a few other things in between for like my other classes, like different like need assessment maps, where I was talking about the effectiveness of Google Classroom, because that's what my school just recently changed to. We were on eChalk last year, and everybody switched to Google Classroom this year, which was not it was not the most pleasant
transition,
I guess you could say. They kind of just threw it at us the first week, and didn't have any professional development or anything. So, but I've been working with my technology director to try to get something going. And we did like a needs assessment survey throughout my district. But again, I find it really difficult for people within my district to want to do anything if it's not counting as something like in-service credits, or something, for their professional development hours or whatever it may be. So we're trying to come up with a plan, and it's just taking longer than I guess I expected it to. So I'm slowly but surely working on it, but hopefully I will get through.
The only way you can reach out to the destination is like that rabbit and the tortoise, right? The one that slowly but surely reached the destination. The one who says, "Oh, I can do it tomorrow," they'll never reach the destination. So keep up the good pace and let me know how I could be helpful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Yarlina.
Hi, Professor. I had a personal question in regards to certification. There was a person who came from the UFT to my school, and I spoke to her about the program, and she kind of like made me a little nervous. In terms of like, what was my question? She said that there wasn't any work opportunities for educational specialists in the DOE.
What?
So I was like, what? So I guess I want to talk to you about that later. Yeah.
And what did she suggest it then? What are we gonna do? What's her?
I have the email. Maybe I'll share that with you because I just.
Why don't you forward to me and I will forward to the dean's office to see if they know something that or they need to alert to something.
Yeah.
But you remember one thing you need to remember. We live in the world right now that nobody knows what's happening tomorrow, right? So right now they may say there's no education specialist necessary, and 2 months down the road maybe they need more. Or once you get the degree, you never do what you graduated from. So you take this, and maybe you will be the next big blogger or next big digital storyteller. Apparently, being on YouTube, like I tell my son, he watches these funky game stories. Somebody just plays a game and records himself, and my son watches. I said, do you know how much this person is making by playing a game, and you're watching it to increase his numbers? So again, as educational visionary leaders, I want you to also understand the world is changing. We may not find what we wished or available, but we're going to be maybe the next big YouTube star. Who knows?
Oh, okay.
Keep our options open. So I don't want to say, because you probably want a job definitely comes from the New York State, but who knows? Maybe the best big job is in Seattle.
Yeah. And then the next thing was like I'm working on my fields work.
Or can I interrupt one more thing? Or
Sure.
overseas. Who knows? Maybe you will be like me, global scholar who wants to teach in Abu Dhabi. I'm going in 2 weeks to Abu Dhabi for a week. So who knows? Where
I'd love that. Yeah, for sure.
Where this credential takes you.
My current thing, I'm currently working on my fields work, and I guess like getting some teachers together. One of the things that I shared, my school is decompartmentalized. So the 4th and 5th grade teachers, there's one teacher per content area. So I was able to gather like the science cluster teacher for the upper grades and the math teachers. And so I taught them about QR codes, which I learned last semester in another course.
Beautiful.
Loved it. So one of the teachers today, she created an activity in one of her stations where she had a QR code for a group of maybe 4 kids, and the kids were like, "Oh my gosh, this is so great!" And she's like, "This is something that I can definitely put into practice." So I was very like, "Oh my gosh, that's great that you put it into practice already." So the other thing is getting more hours. So that's what I'm working towards as well. Just when I have my Tuesday afternoons with, planning time, I kind of that's what I'm thinking of working on. And I guess towards Alyssa's same thing with the task stream uploads, I've been having some issues with that. But for the most part, that's what I'm currently doing.
And you're going to write a case study for your UNESCO project, right?
Sure.
All right. Perfect. So I can highlight you on the Facebook page. Thank you for
today my students, I have an actual iPad where I put it in the front of the room and they can see how many steps they've done. And today they were like, oh, let's count how many packets we've already helped. And they said, well, we got 14 in one class and 13 in another. So I just put some math into it. I'm like, how many is that? They're like, oh, that's 27. So that means, oh, for the past 3 weeks, we've, helped 27 kids. So that's really cool.
It's becoming a transdisciplinary project again. I keep using this word transdisciplinary, but that's what the technology teachers, I guess, focus is, just like what we discussed last time on the visionary leader. Who is the visionary leader? We can't just say, oh, I am good at only science, or I only understand English. We need to be able to bring some, collaboration among different fields, different subjects. That's great. Thank you. All right, Michelle?
Sure.
Hi. Well, speaking of assessment, with UPK, New York State's taking a big deal with that, so things are changing constantly with UPK. Our new thing is actually adding technology in for assessments, no more paper pencil kind of thing, because UPK is getting funded so much with more money every day. So I actually,
What UPK stands for, please?
Universal Pre-Kindergarten. And with that being said, I actually joined a committee for our district to find a new assessment program that goes through, that we're going to start using we're hoping September.
Okay.
So we're each
Counts towards your hours, because you're showing your leadership in a teamwork, right?
Okay, so yeah, because I was going to ask that, because we each have to take on, of course, everybody's pushing assessments at us because they want us to buy their assessment. So each one of us is taking one on and kind of testing it with the kids we have now.
Sure.
And then we have to, throughout the weeks, going through and teaching each other what we learned throughout each assessment.
Okay.
I didn't realize how intense it is, because of course everybody wants you to have their assessment and the prices are insane. But and
I think this is where your visionary leadership comes in, because there are so many free and accessible and innovative software out there. So you should be able to find an alternative, because that's your role, right? Being in that committee, you want your district or your team to understand that the solution may not be the most expensive software, but something that's maybe more.
Correct. Well, it's actually I'm the youngest out of all the Universal Pre-K teachers in Valley Central. So, of course, they're all turning towards me with technology, because some of them can't even turn on a computer. So I've taken on actually 2 different ones that I have to try out. And because I actually have a morning class and an afternoon class, I have 2 preschool classes. So one class I'll do the morning class with, and one class I'll do the afternoon class. And it's weird that we have to use like iPads and things like that, because everything we've been doing is just paper and pencil. And now they want to switch over. And of course, I'm all for it. I'm go for it, but the other ones are kind of pushed back, because they've been in it for they've been in preschool for 25 years and things like that. And they're not ready to make that step forward. But because we've been taken on by the state and we get funded by the state, we need to listen to the state. So they're all kind of like, well, let's go to the paper. And I'm like, we can't, we got to move forward. So it's weird to be on that side where I talk to all you guys, and you guys are all into technology because we're all in the same program, where my colleagues are kind of like, no, let's stay where we're doing, but we can't.
Yeah. Do you remember the cartoon last time?
Mm-hmm.
You ask a change, everybody, but who wants to change? Oh,
Yep.
Yep. I think that reminds me, and this is happening everywhere. One thing that I think you also need to do, maybe tell these people, can I just showcase maybe one simple or free innovative tool, and maybe that will be one, before the session starts, we'll say, let's, try this little tool. And that's last time I mentioned the tool where you hold a paper and then someone scans over. I forgot the name of that software. It's like the QR code type of thing.
Clickers.
Oh yes, that's it. Clickers.
Okay.
So something like that, maybe you will organize, and it's like 1, 2, 3, and then you will say, based on this, if you think A, you rotate this. If it is B, you rotate this. I was in a PTO meeting a couple of weeks ago. I was very impressed. The principal really got us engaged with this one piece of paper. Nobody even needed to have cell phones or iPads.
Wow. Yeah, I have to push forward because the first meeting we went to was last week and they were all like totally against it and everything. And then you have then it's me going, well, we need to. And it's kind of like each week we meet every week and we have to move forward because we have to do it by September or New York State drops Valley Central with their UPK. So we have to do it.
Michelle, you actually gave me one more idea, responding earlier how state might be changing the technology leaders, like not accessible or they're not getting jobs or coming back to Yarlina's point. But being in that committee, it also gives you a chance to call yourself, you're the innovative assessment person, assessment coordinator, or so I have to tell you, last year, I was a consultant. I was making the same salary in 3 days because of the assessment skills I had. So don't forget, all the skills that you're learning under this course, under this program, one of which is assessment, which is happened to be the weakest that you identified in the survey, earlier in the pre-survey. But I'm hoping throughout this course, you're enhancing that and learning from each other, because if you can get your name onto that list and you are that person identified in your district, or she knows assessment, and then you start working in 2-3 committees, and in no time you might be promoted for the district technology / assessment coordinator. Maybe you are creating your own job, because I have to tell you, but when new technologies come in, the first thing is nobody gives professional development. They assume that technology that they buy is going to solve everything. So but bringing forcing people to take from pencil and paper to the iPads, guess what? Everybody now needs to learn. And so I think you guys have plenty of to do in the school districts. We just need to, I guess, swim through the red.
Yep. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you. So Linda, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I know you've been posting a lot of artifacts. So you're an artifact expert now. I think you don't have problems with TaskStream. You are expert on TaskStream, right?
I hope so. Let's see what those grades look like.
Grades looks like, to me, I didn't post it because it wasn't, the link wasn't on the, otherwise I could have said 30 out of 30, just, or 10 out of 10. So you're doing such a good job. I don't think you have a question on that, but you might have questions on the other.
I do have like a general question. I've been doing, well, I guess I'll talk about like what I've been doing for my hours. I was able to do the Google Docs thing, and I did a small thing on Plickers, which is why I remembered it so quickly.
Extra point, by the way, remind me on the journal.
And I've been doing small things, like more one-on-one things with teachers that have questions, because I've just been putting myself out there, like saying, hey, I'm in a master's program. Hey, I need hours. What do you need help with? And so a lot of people have actually come to me, like for Promethean, how to update, which I never would have thought, but how to update the laptop card, like stuff like that. So just small things here and there. But I've had this itch to learn a lot about Google Classroom. So if you know of anything that I can watch online or do online that can help me understand it so that I can create something for it and bring it to my school.
Here's, you and I actually could create a MOOC, and this will be in lieu of whenever one of the assignments, like the case study. If you don't want to do it, you and I could test it out, because I created a Google Classroom through NYIT, because I happened to be in a conference last week, if you remember. I was posting it on the announcement. That conference, they talked about how the Google Classroom transformed this, how they did assessment like that, how they collected data on that. Like, if we had used Google Classroom, we could have even eliminated TaskStream. Apparently, the way that they used, yes, it's such an amazing tool that they were talking about. I never had access in my previous institutions, but we have it right now. So if you, maybe we could do a little 3-4 of us, whoever is interested, and I'll be more than happy to count towards some hours for you, because we can show, we can learn together. Like we can post things, we can experiment things together. So if, let's say, 3-4 of us interested, I can create a space, and I'll make you guys maybe the teacher of the space or something, so you can see, because apparently it automatically creates folders for the students. So instead of asking students to post this, so I'm like, if this is that easy, now why we're subscribing to things like Blackboard or or TaskStream? It could have been even cheaper for NYIT. But that's what I started thinking when they were making that presentation. And if you want, since I attended this session, I can reach out to those colleagues, ask them to come in our next Zoom meeting. So maybe they can answer our questions after we tackle a little bit, play around with the Google Classroom and experiment some of the assessment work. Then guess what? We'll invite them and ask more detailed questions. So they were very, very, like, I could do anything with Google Classroom. They were very innovative. Anyway, sorry about the branching out that, but I truly believe there's always cheaper and better solutions coming up. So as educators, we need to keep our eyes open, and that's our visionary leadership, right? We shouldn't be subscribing because, like, this is what I hear, and I'm always very saddened. People say, oh, Mac, it's not good. Or the PC people say, that way. Or the PC people say, oh, Macs, the PCs are the best. So they always talk about the other platform or other software not being good. But in my opinion, you need to work with whatever the school has, and you're not going to, say, if I don't have this software, I'm not going to do it. I have this, and I'm going to explore it.
And we have to learn all the different ones because, for
Absolutely.
example, in school we have iPads, and we're apparently, unfortunately, and for me, but we're not doing that anymore. Now they're switching to Chromebooks. Then we have like some old MacBooks. I feel like they're constantly switching. So
why? Because it's driven by, like, a principal goes, this is one of the problems, because principals are not technology leaders, right? They are just excited people. They go to these conferences and they get these promotional items, right? They're not supposed to, but they do. And then they say, oh, we'll give you a free account for this, or we'll give you 10 Chrome for that. And then they come back and say, oh, let's just do it this way. I think that's why I think you technology leaders to go in and say, no, we don't want this way. And in order to do that, I guess you need to have a good presence in the school and build that reputation that you're continually bringing the latest and the cheapest and the most effective and most easier to professionally develop tools. All right, I celebrate you on that, and I take on this opportunity. Maybe you and I will work, and anyone who would like to join us, we could create a Google Classroom and play around and see if that's really as other people told us it is good.
Thank you.
Sometimes experiencing is the best way to learn. All right, Brittany.
Hi.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Thank you for being here.
I just wanted to quickly add on. We were talking about Google Classroom. My district is completely like Google based. We use Google products every day. My classroom is pretty much a digital classroom. So if anyone needs like help using Google Classroom, I use it literally every day with my students.
Okay, so in that case, you will be our consultant, because we'll be your students who are learning Google Classroom. So I'm going to count on you. I'm putting your name and a little star next to it. So I'm going to maybe ask you to come and look at you don't necessarily have to learn. You just be the, I guess, consultant.
Okay, great.
And you'll get hours signed up by me because you're using your time to show your leadership skills, right?
Yes.
Thank you. Anything else? Any questions? Any accomplishments you want to share?
Well, I think I've been trying to keep up with like the artifacts and everything on TaskStream. I'm working on finishing up all the artifacts for Standard 3, and then next week I'll be working on the artifacts for Standards 4. And then I did the review of the New York State framework, which was due today, I believe, right?
Yep.
So that was done, and then I'm trying to work on my hours, which is like my main focus. So each week I meet with my other colleagues that teach 5th grade. So I've been using that time to help them with technology. Particularly, we just got, because we are a digital district, so each student has one-to-one Chromebook use. And a big issue with that, especially in the upper grades, was that students were using their Chromebooks to go on like inappropriate sites and just pretty much like off-task behavior. And it's hard to like manage, 30 kids and watch what they're doing on their Chromebooks. So we recently got Go Guardian, which basically allows like me as the teacher to see a live view of all the students' screens, and I can like, it's pretty cool. I can like message them, like close out their screens and stuff. So I've been like supporting the other teachers, because again, that was kind of just like thrown out to us like through the grapevine. It wasn't really even an announcement. It was like, oh, I think we have Go Guardian now, kind of thing. So I've been helping them with that, and then I'm working.
Created
sorry, what?
screencast of this, for instance, how to do step-by-step, how you can use Guardian, whatever you mentioned. I don't know exactly how it's spelled. Maybe you can put it on the chat for us. But if you create a little screencast or some kind of a little YouTube video, you can post it and you can teach us, right? We'll give you comments and you'll get credits or hours from us, as well as you will share the same link with colleagues who are asking the same question over and over, but they may need that step-by-step instruction on a video based. Who knows?
Right.
If you're interested, that's what I'm saying. I'm interested in learning from you now that you mentioned it's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was really impressed. And it was like funny that, the kids, I didn't tell the kids I had it. Like I would just like type the messages like, I see what you're on, and they're like, "What? How do you know?" Like, so it's funny. But I'm also, for like the larger part of my hours, I'm going to be doing a professional development session in my district about how Prezi and different types of multimedia presentations can be used to support project-based learning. So I'm currently like drafting the outline, and then I have to get it approved by the teacher center, and then the teacher center needs to get it approved by the assistant superintendent. So it's just kind of like, process at the moment. But
just to let all of you know, but particularly for you, let's say you're doing this district level work and you feel like it would be so nice if someone will be with you or look over your presentation and give feedback. I don't know how far you are from me, but I would love to come and see you in action, as well as come and help you if you want me to be your co-presenter or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I teach in Middletown, which is in like Orange County, New York. And thankfully I've been working with my technology TOSA, who's been like helping me and looking at, everything that I've done so far as well.
Yeah, practically we're colleagues, right?
Yeah.
You're no longer my students. In a couple of weeks, you'll be my official colleagues. By the way, I think most of you, I signed your paperwork. So it's like there is a star report. I need to look everybody's grades, and I'm very impressed that this cohort has very nice GPAs, and so it's been very easy and such a proud moment to be able to put that signature and let you guys all pass. I'm assuming you all signed up to attend the graduation, right? I'm going to see you in person, I hope, some of you.
I actually had, not to interrupt you, I have one more question specifically about the case study. I think I kind of came in at the end of that when you were discussing that. Could you just like describe a little bit more about like what we need to be doing, when it's due?
It's quite an open-ended project. It has I've seen many different ways people approach last semester, and I found it all extremely valid. So one of the ways in which I was saying that you can turn this into preparing this district level project, let's say, could be turned into a case study to show your leadership, and you can talk about step by step how you created the agenda, how you went through getting permits, and how you presented, what kind of results you collected, and what needs analysis you had done. So if you can just document that story of making that 1 hour presentation and how that showcased all your work, that could be a nice case study.
Okay.
And please, if you have pictures, ask some people to maybe take your picture you're presenting in front of this big audience and people clapping. I don't know. It would be nice to send 2-3 pictures and with a little paragraph, and I can post it on MSIT, MSIT Facebook. So.
Okay. And the case studies due at the end of the semester?
Yes, I mean, of course, everything by the end of the semester.
Okay.
But,
I
think if you present it next week, don't leave it at the end. Get it over with, and put it and send it over.
Okay, great. Thank you.
But if you already done a case study in another class, who knows? Maybe that will be something that needs to be recycled, put into a new focus, because maybe you did a case study in your first semester, and you look and say, oh, yeah, I've done more since then. So you might be able to hash that out and put it together. In my opinion, it's the proud story you're telling to you and to your colleagues. This is what I've done. This is a case study that showcases my leadership skills, or a case study showcases that the student you've been working with maybe last 5 years, right? You can pick that one student and talk about the journey that you had with that teacher or with that student. Case study could be taken from different angles. So it's up to you how you would like to take it. And you can always call me. I have my cell number here, so we can discuss how you're going to take it if you have suggestions. If you have some questions on that particular topic that you're interested in delving more about.
Okay,
all right,
great.
We have only Kelly left. Is that right? According to this list. Kelly?
Hi. Sorry I was a little bit late tonight. I have been working on my task stream. I only have 2 more artifacts and then I'll be completely done. So I'm very happy about that. And then I'm very glad that somebody just brought up the fact about the case study, because I'm also doing a presentation. So I'm thinking I can do sort of the same thing and write my case study on my presentation. I'm going to present in the district on how to incorporate Google into a math classroom, because a lot of my colleagues are having difficulty with that. And I think that's it for now.
It's perfect.
Oh, I did have another comment. This year, our district, we were all required to create a Google Classroom. So I've been using that all year. So you were mentioning before maybe getting some hours based on Google Classroom. So if you needed some more assistance, I would be happy to help.
Excellent. So we have Brittany and Kelly already signed up to be our consultants. And
I can help too.
oh, Alyssa
I'm
too.
definitely an expert in Google Classroom.
I'm going to put a star next to your name as well, Alyssa.
Thank you.
And for others who would like to join our exploration with Celinda, we're going to create, I guess, little modules, and maybe you guys could be our guinea pigs, little students in the classroom or testing out. So please feel free to email. I will send out the announcement just in case for everyone, right? So that if anyone want to join, they can, but we know who are the consultants and who are the, I guess, playing the project together. Okay. I want to see if any other questions, any other suggestions. And Kelly, please feel free to also send me pictures and some stories, so I can also put you on the Facebook page.
Okay, thank you.
And this could be also everything you said in the case study or software that you mentioned. Please, all of you, consider presenting at the Tech conference. Remember, that could be a 5-minute presentation for 3 hours. 3 professional development hours that you can, PD hours, I guess you can get as a certificate.
And how do you sign up for that?
Oh, I posted, I will repost it.
Oh, that was on the Blackboard, right? One of the announcements?
Announcements, yeah. And you need to go to the Google Doc and sign up, what you want to present and what slot you want to present. I put some tentative idea checklist for us, but you can also email me if you have some other ideas.
Oh, great.
Times, other resources. It's all, remember, we're not trying to make it difficult for you. This semester, this is not a course to add you new knowledge, force you to memorize things. This is the time to celebrate your work so that we will leave this program with confidence that you have all the checklist items completed by the state requirements completed, and you're ready for the next workplace. As Yerlinda was scared by that kind of people, next time when that kind of person comes in, you'll say, nope, I can do this, X, Y, and Z. I can create my own district job. Okay. Can we now talk a little bit about assessment? I know you all had the chance to watch and respond to Alfie Kohn, and some of you had the chance to read some of his pieces. Do you guys remember Alfie? I think that's how it spells his name, right? Alfie Kohn. And I had a great time listening to you, because some of you told me in that reflections how, in fact, you, after watching these videos, stop giving those homeworks yourself, like you said, in some of you said in your reflections. So coming back to the roles of assessment, I created a PowerPoint slides for us to share today. So I want to screen capture. We don't have to go through all the slides. We have only 10-15 minutes left, but I'm going to upload the slides on the system. So if you want, these are the slides I had a chance to present in the conference last week. So I thought, hey, maybe I will have a chance to share with my students as well. Hold on one second, screen share. Okay. And please feel free to jump in, like if any of the slides or any questions you have. Welcome, hoş geldiniz, ni hao, bienvenido. And I called it Rethinking Assessment and Evaluation. I compared it with, in this particular paper presentation, with Azerbaijan. As you remember, I was a Fulbright scholar, but most of the things that I would like to talk about is how assessment for, as, and of learning. Have you heard these three terms? How it's a bit different? Assessment of learning as opposed to assessment for learning. Can you just wave at me if you heard it? Okay, so we may need to then hash it out a little bit more in the next slides. Did you see what I did on the screen? This is a mini book, by the way. You can have one page of the PowerPoint slide that you put the things, 4 slides at, 4 little boxes at the top. So this is a template, I can send it to you. And then you can make a QR code. So everything you do after the presentation, people just cut in the center, it turns into a mini book. So you give it to them like a little mini book when you fold it. So for those of you who come on May 5th or 6th, I will give you a real version to take it with you. Oh, here is the bigger one. So what is assessment? To me, assessment is celebration of learning. And this is a little, either I found this somewhere, maybe I even did it myself, I don't remember, how the assessment could be explained using a concept map. And we had this earlier, we discussed, right? Assessment is not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that counts, countable can be counted counts. Okay. So in this day and age, in this research paper I wrote for Azerbaijan, I think this is a little bit irrelevant for our dialogue. But as the learning spaces changes, right? As the platforms change from Chromebook to iPads to cell phones, and we start to use the new technologies in various locations in the schools, more and more we hear students here, like when they ask, what was that aha moment? According to the research, you hear more restrooms than classrooms. Because students take the iPhone to anywhere, and guess what? They might be having that aha moment or a fake news that they think they learned something in another location. So as the locations change, our assessment tools are changing. And every school is going into these portfolios, Google Classrooms to collect data. As you can see, this chart, students start from, we used to just check what they know, and we give exams to know how they know, but showing and doing parts, the performance part is now more critical. That's why when we mentioned earlier digital storytelling, right? They're showcasing their learning in a different platform in an interactive way. And here are some of the softwares I used from Canvas to Edpuzzle. These are some of the software you already explored. So I put them together like a little checklist. Anybody use TED, by the way? This is one of my favorite tools. No? Wave at me if you do. Okay, Shalinda. My son actually, whenever anyone else on this screen, Brittany, Kelly, and we don't see you, Ryan. TED is a very nice way to integrate some of the comprehension learning. So my son every night before goes to bed want to watch one TED and check his comprehension because it gives some questions at the end. So take a look at that one, as of course, in addition to TED Talks. But this one is a bit more animated. So here is the assessment that you need to address in everything you do. Assessment now becoming more collaborative, meaning you're not collecting data anymore just for your own class and just putting a grade and you're done with it, right? Now the institutions are getting those data from you and making meaning out of the overall performance of the school, the district, and there are a lot of collaborative efforts out there to collect data. It needs to be transparent, so the parents now having access to students' grades, students' benchmarks in different platforms, and it should be transparent to teachers. So when data is collected by the school, teachers shouldn't be waiting 5 months to hear what the students are doing, right? It needs to be transparent and clear. We talked about innovation already, but innovation doesn't mean the most expensive software. Maybe you repurposing some of the software you're already using, like Google Classroom, and see if you can turn it into an innovative way to collect data. It needs to be defensible, meaning superintendent comes and says, how come you think your students did it? You should be able to explain how that data is collected and how it's being presented and why do you think that student did it better overall and so on. It needs to be cost effective. We don't want anything off the chart because we want to spend more money maybe in the schools, not just focusing on only technology, but there are other educational manipulatives and other even the bulk that needs to be part of the budget, right? So we can't just spend all our money on technology. And it needs to be sustainable, something that you can create. You collect the data now, and then you have a chance to compare over time students' performance. I also talked about how assessment is different meaning for different people, right? What is assessment? So this is something that I actually loved. Assessment is the increased quantity or judging the quality. And coming back to assessment for learning, assessment as learning, and assessment of learning. What are they, and how are we going to put the assessment in place so assessment for learning, for instance, enables us to use the information about the students so we can give a final grade, right? But assessment as learning, students are involved in the learning process, like using those self-assessment checklists or rubrics, right? So that they check their own understanding while the assessment is going on. It's mostly formative. And assessment or learning is somewhat like maybe the analysis of you, like teachers doing pre and post survey, right? Not necessarily an assessment that you take it into a grade, but you assess your own teaching style or assess the atmosphere of the classroom. Is it conducive to learning? Is it too cold, too hot, right? So you might be using assessment for different purposes. Again, assessment is really a celebration of learning. And here's another way to, I guess, put that same idea into a different chart. And it will be interesting for us to really look at, use this chart and what is assessment for look like in your classroom, sound like in your classroom, and from students' point of view, right? You can actually do a little exercise. And here's another one that ask who are the active partners. Again, remember we need to be collaborative in our efforts. If you have, let's say, a substitute teacher that or an aide in your classroom, or you're co-teaching, who are the people who are part of this assessment? So you can get a bigger picture of that student while you're collecting data. When to collect data? Do we need to collect data every day, every hour, every minute? Or do we have some benchmarks or certain end points? What is the information is used for, right? If this assessment that you are collecting is used for just for the grading purposes or improving instruction. Again, you need to ask these questions to yourself when you plan any type of assessment. And why to collect data, and of course, what type of data. And here's another chart that I took from this list, because the more you answer those, assess why and how and what methods, and there's some strategies, you can find out that assessment is not just, it used to be. You give a midterm and a final and you get a grade and you're done with your college life, right? And now most colleges are being assessed by the accreditation institutions outside. So we are being asked as we speak by the middle states and NYIT. They want to know, right, what is going on? Are the students are using different types of assessment? Because grade no longer tells a story about the student. It's only 2 points in the semester, right? That's why we have tools like TaskStream, although it's painful, right? But it gives a little bit bigger picture of the student for us. And peer coaching. Are we also integrating assessment to help each other as faculty to faculty? Departmental and institutional assessment. How are we getting combined data so we know that this cohort is more productive, much better, or much innovative than the other one? So how are we going to actually compare? And this is an interesting chart I found, because levels of commitment and interest changes between faculty and administration. And you can see from low to high level and institutional to course level. So for teachers, if you look at this chart for the faculty and instructors, right, we are less interested in institutional level assessment. We're more interested in course level assessment, and administration is vice versa, because for them, they really don't care what grade you gave it to students, but how you improved your instruction and how the overall data supported the district level SAT scores or some other ways that they are interested in more institutional level. And we also see in the schools, this is a GE example, general education exam from undergraduate. We start to put benchmarks so that when a candidate graduates or a student is in the system, we want to know not just if they know the content, like content liberal arts. We want to also know that they have 21st century skills, global competencies, and values like ethical judgments and lifelong learning. By the way, have you heard the term heterogogy? Heterogogy, anyone? Okay, nobody is waving. It's, let me just scroll through a little bit more to show you the term. This is heterogogy. The term came out because it's a new type of pedagogy. You no longer teach the students the way we used to learn, right? Now, heterogogy says you need to teach them lifelong learning skills. Like one of them is media and information literacy skills. How are we going to assess that? So these are the, I'm sorry, the time is running on me, but these are some of the issues that I addressed in my research, and I'm still addressing and learning. So, and as you can see, heterogogy goes from pedagogy to andragogy to heterogogy, which is the skill that we need to give it to students so they'll have their critical autonomy. They won't be tricked by the media. When the media tells them, here is the information, they're not going to be just persuaded, right? They're going to ask the questions. Who's telling the story? Or who is sponsoring this story? What's the point of view in that story? So they could ask more stories. So this idea of fake news will be eradicated from our, I guess, institutions. And I also encourage you to look more into universal design of learning, how they also assess using brain-based educational research, right? Why of learning, what of learning, and how of learning. So each part of the loop is assessed. It's not like we could just assess because they are just answering the questions in a test, right? That's one type of assessment that goes one part of the loop. There are two other loops that needs to be assessed because they're maybe more creative. They could maybe articulate more how of learning more than what of learning. And again, I see the pedagogy of plenty as opposed to pedagogy of poverty will be created in the classrooms if we can see things from a global education point of view, transdisciplinary point of view. So you don't see, like digital storytelling is one of the circles I put here earlier we discussed. It's part of the circle. It's part of the connectedness, right? You are not just thinking, oh, that's a skill set that they learned here, but that's a transferable skill set. And again, I love this world's multilingual in a multilingual, multicultural, multimedia format. So thank you for listening. I can go on. Of course, I have how many more slides left? But I'm going to put my slides up. And if you have any interest in any of my slides, let me know. And this is an article just published in UNESCO publication by your friend Melda Yıldız. Media binds or blinds. If you want, the link will be there for you to read and respond and give me some feedback. And that's what I do, deconstruct myths and misconceptions in global media education. That's my research. And here's a thank you for me and a QR code. As Yerlin, is that you, Yerlinda? So I have a QR code too. And if anyone will be interested in creating mini books to take it to your next digital district level presentation, it's only one page. You give it to people and it turns into a nice little cute page that has your name at the top. That may be a very good way to, I guess, connect with your audience and share your resources through QR code. So you can't print every single handout, but you can at least give them a link to learn more about. All right, I'm sorry, took extra 5 minutes, and thank you for your patience. I appreciate it for staying and eating your dinner with me. So stay connected. I'll see you, I guess next week is spring break, officially spring break, but we are all working. I am here if you need me 24/7 until I die. You're my colleagues forever. Yeah, I'm sorry to be a little bit grim, but as you get older, you just need to put a period, right? I can't help you for the rest of the eternity. Until I die, I'll be here to serve you as much as I could. All right, Celinda, we need to get connected soon to get our Google Classroom. I'm so excited that you're interested in learning. Me too. And thank you for our consultants who volunteered to help. And thank you for the rest who are patiently listening. And if you have any questions about my slides, please contact me. And let's keep digging how we're going to get our more assessment savvy. Because guess what? You're not just doing this for your getting this out of this class so you're going to get an A. Please, I am recording myself. You're going to all get an A. You guys, all ambitious people, you've done such a great work. You already have all 3-point plus GPA. So I know you're going to get another A from this class. So don't focus on the A. How are you going to use this class so that it will turn into a publication? It will turn into a next big presentation. It's going to get you a keynote. You know, some keynoters make $6,000. So yes, we wanted to bring a speaker to NYIT, and we're like, what? 6,000? We don't have one. So, and then another person said, don't you know that other such and such person has 60,000? So it's actually 6,000 is cheap. So again, if you are the person who brought these innovation into your district, you'll be seeked out. So don't worry, Arunda. With your little ones who are doing all that UNESCO projects, you're going to be seeked out. So please send me your stories. Let me highlight you, make us all proud of you, and have a chance to share with the rest of the world of your exemplary work. Oh my God, I talk too much. All right, go to bed or whatever you like to do. You can sign up, but I'm still here for those who wants to stay after and chat a little bit more. Other than that, enjoy the evening, enjoy the spring break.
Professor, so my question was more in terms of like I don't have tenure right now, so I'm currently teaching under my Students with Disabilities license. And she spoke with me and she said, I don't think you should change it. I think you should, give me your contact information so I can find out more in terms of seeing whether that degree, is transferable so you can teach. So then I was a little worried. I was like, oh my goodness, I really want to put this into my practical application. That's my future plans.
Okay.
So
same thing I'm going to offer to you. Please write it up, exactly what you're worried about. I will forward to Luz Minaya, who is the art certification director at NYIT. I will ask her specifically how we can guide you to the right direction.
Yeah, I know Professor Luz. She's the best. I learned so much from her class.
I love her. I love her. So either you directly contact her and say, I told you to do so.
Okay.
Or CC to me or email me. I can forward to her, whatever you feel comfortable, because she already also worked and tenured in the New York system. So she is an expert teacher as well as our expert in the campus. So
okay, I'll reach out.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And don't be afraid. The way I see people, some people, I won't say this to anyone, and I will be more than happy to write you the best recommendation. Yerlinda, you are amazing. You're a sharp lady with a bright future waiting. You just need to believe in yourself. Sometimes we are, not tenured and we're fearful and stuff like that. It's all, understandable, but don't be afraid. You have the power, baby.
Okay. Thank you so much, Professor. I'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.